Thanks, Damon. We're here at Eastlake Golf Club in Atlanta and pleased to be joined by Brian Rolapp, the CEO of the PGA Tour. Brian, this is officially day 24 for you, I believe, so that's surely sufficient time for you to have answers to all of the challenges you face?
Well, I don't have all the answers. That's why I'm coming to see you, because I know you'll have them.
Well, unfortunately, the Irish revel in problems, not solutions. Brian, you announced excuse me, today, a future competition committee that will review the entire competitive model of the Tour. You said you want significant change. You said it's a holistic process. How aggressive is the change that you're seeking, and are there any sacred cows in that process?
Look, I want to be aggressive. I don't know if they're sacred cows. I think we'll find that, but I go in with the cleanest sheet of paper as possible. So what I said this morning, and I mean it, really meant it, or it bears repeating, I think we want to be aggressive. I think we don't want the change to be incremental. We want it to be holistic, and we want to do it as soon as we can. We're not going to put a timeline on it because we just want to make sure we get the work done right, but we're gonna be aggressive.
There are 6 players on the 9-person committee. If the last couple of years have shown us anything, it's that players do tend to make selfish decisions depending on where they are in their career at a given point in time. Are you in any way concerned that the players are already too powerful and that maybe they shouldn't have such a strong voice in shaping the future?
Look, I'm not sure I agree with this premise where the players are too powerful. I hear that a lot. I'm not sure what that means, but I will tell you just my experience so far, where I have spent time with over 20 of them having conversations. They've lasted a long time, each conversation. My interaction with the board, my interaction with others. I said this today in our presser this morning. I find them engaging. I find them focused. Anyone would act out of a certain level of self-interest if this is your career, this is your job. I don't fault anybody for that. I actually think the player involvement is a strength. It's unique in sports. There's no other sport that I can think of major import that has a structure where the players own it. And that's what the PGA Tour is. And I actually think if harnessed right, where people's incentives are aligned, I think it could be a strength.
You released the PGA Tour schedule yesterday, and you'd mentioned one of the governing principles of this committee was going to be scarcity. There were 38 events on the Tour schedule for 26. That doesn't include the fall. It includes 4 weeks where you're playing 2 events concurrently. That seems a little bit closer to saturation than scarcity. Do you see a scenario in which you would try to scale back the number of events played on the Tour schedule in the United States?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. I think what 26 is not. I don't think we're fully embracing those 3 principles that I talked about. To your point, and I think 26 will provide another data point as we look to make these changes. But I think our goal is to make events that really matter. And to make events that really matter, you certainly have to have the most competitive golf you can get with the best players you can get. They need to be connected to a postseason that people understand. The competitive stakes need to be clear. And I think you probably need fewer rather than more. But we're going to balance all of that with what I mentioned. The great thing about this sport is you're never out of it. There's a meritocracy to the PGA Tour where if you are playing well, you earn your way in. And I think that's special about the sport, and we're not going to lose that.
Not everything's a challenge for you right now. You do have one significant opportunity that most new CEOs don't get. You have $1.5 billion from SSG to invest. How do you intend to spend that capital?
I don't think we know yet. I have ideas. We haven't made any decisions. But I think as we get the competitive model right, the commercial model will go alongside and follow a bit. And I think that's where that investment capital will be beneficial. How do we improve the fan experience? How do we improve the experience for our partners? How do we improve the experience for our players? If you take care of the product and take care of the fans and invest to do that, the economics will come. And I spent a fair amount of my career figuring out the economics of sports. I'm not overly worried about that if we get those core fundamental things right.
You spent 20 years at the NFL, which is a sport with one authority, with players who are contracted, with fans and broadcasters who know who's going to play on any given week, and you own the biggest event in that sport in the Super Bowl. You're now at a sport where there are multiple authorities in different corners of it. The players aren't contracted. The fans and broadcasters don't really know who's guaranteed to play on any given week. And despite being arguably the most influential organisation in the sport, you don't actually own any of the 5 biggest events in the sport. Do you have to just live with that, or do you see circumstances where you can change that?
I think we can improve the sport. Look, about the NFL and about all those things you said are true. The NFL wasn't always that. there was a time in this country where college football, horse racing, and boxing were more popular than the National Football League. It was a long time ago, but it has grown to be what it has because I think applying some of these principles we're talking about. So I think we can. I think the PGA Tour is the most preeminent golf tour on the planet now. I think you see that by the level of competition. Think you see that in the viewership and the fan engagement. I think we'd be a lot better. And I think if, as I mentioned before, other sports have different models with their players. It's mainly management and labor. It's a collectively bargained set of employees. This is different. We have shareholders, which I think is going to be a strength because it aligns people's interests more in a lot of ways than just a worker-labor type of relationship, in my view. But, we will see. So I don't think anything you laid out are necessarily inhibitions of what we want to accomplish. I just think it's different.
It's been a couple of years now of negotiations with the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. It hasn't really gone anywhere. Do you see a scenario in which you'll say, we need clarity, a good faith effort has been made, nothing is possible, and we're moving on with the momentum that the tour has?
Yeah, listen, I have the benefit. There's a lot of benefits to coming to this job when I come in from where I came, and I'm not saddled with any of whatever happened before, and everything is new, and I can look forward, and I think there's some advantages to that. A lot of people want to talk about the conversations with PIF. I have not had any conversations with PIF. I will say, and I mentioned it in my press conference, I am focused on whatever is good for the tour. And that's it. So that is a wide set of things. So if there's any scenario that actually will benefit the PGA Tour, I am all for it, and I'll look at it.
So let's say one of those scenarios, and I know you don't like hypotheticals, but indulge me with one here, Brian. If a year from now, Bryson DeChambeau comes to you and says, I'm done with LIV, I want to come back to the PGA Tour, I don't want to sit out a suspension, do you feel that's good for your business? Potentially some opposition in the locker room. How would you handle a scenario like that?
Listen, you're right. I'm not going to answer hypotheticals, but I respect you for trying. I wouldn't expect anything else. Listen, my view is if I'm doing my job, I'm creating, along with our partners, the best professional golf tour in the world that people want to play in. That's what I'm trying to do. So, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
One of the founding principles of the PGA Tour, which a lot of the veteran players are very much wedded to, is the idea of the philanthropy and the charitable aspect of it. If you are potentially streamlining the tour and also attempting to deliver something approaching a return for your private equity investors, is there a possibility that the charity aspect in any way gets squeezed?
I think it's something we got to look at. Here's what I would say. I would say almost all sports leagues or major sports have evolved from nonprofit trade association types of governance structures into more commercial enterprises. And the PGA Tour is no different. All of them have done this. And so I just think the PGA Tour's evolution has come later than some other major sports in this country. I will also say that if you look at those other sports, as they've grown in stature and they've grown in importance, so have their charitable efforts. And the bigger the platform, the more you can impact charitable initiatives in a really good way. So I think we can do both together. Will the model be different? Maybe, possibly. Will we abandon charitable aspects of the tour, or will we lose that as part of what we do? No, we won't.
Do you want a more global presence for the PGA Tour? Because it is somewhat of a relatively insular organization right now.
I think it's up for discussion. I think we are international in the sense that we have a relationship with the DP World Tour. We're international in the sense that we play some co-sanctioned events there. We're international that our player base is international. They're not all American, and they're fans of the PGA Tour worldwide. So if we're going to serve fans, we're going to serve them wherever they are, and that includes international. How that strategy takes place and what the details are and how we tactically do that, I think we're going to look at all of that. I think that'll be part of this discussion, and certainly we'll have that with our partners, the DP World Tour.
The other partners you have also include the four major championships. They obviously have all of their own media rights deals, but it's your assets, your talent, and your players who are part of that. Do you think the PGA Tour ought to have more of a share of the revenue that the major championships generate?
I think it's important. I do think if you analytically from the outside world come in and look at the golf world, it is fractured. There's There are legacy organizations with legacy governance structures, which is all fine. I think it's important for the PGA Tour to play an important role in doing what's good for the benefit of the game. We've had discussions with the USGA. We've had conversations with the PGA of America about how we work more together. And I don't want to talk too much in detail about those, but we'll continue those. And I think there's a way that we can do more together, certainly commercially in other ways, for the benefit of all the organizations involved.
Last question before we wrap up, Brian. You aren't really of the golf ecosystem at all. TPC Sawgrass outside your office is a pretty good performance centre. Have you signed up for a lesson plan yet?
I have not signed up for a lesson plan. I haven't had time to do much other than sort of figure out this new job. So I'm not sure the luxury of a lesson plan is in my near future.
Well, at least that avoids some trauma for you, Brian. We appreciate the time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.